All right, you guys asked for it, so are you ready to go deep? Nope. This one's going to get a little weird, huh?
Yeah, this is a fascinating one. Lots to unpack.
We're taking your notes and that article you sent in about the ending, and honestly, I'm kind of nervous.
I get it. Nope, it's not your typical alien flick. It's got layers, man. Like Jordan Peele's using this whole alien invasion thing to say something way deeper about Hollywood itself.
Okay, before we get too far into the deep end, I just want to do a quick recap for anyone who hasn't seen the film. We've got OJ and Emerald, right? They're trying to keep their family's horse ranch going, which is already hard enough.
Right.
Then boom, Jean Jacket shows up. This massive, I don't even know what to call it, UFO with a taste for horse flesh.
Yeah, a bad miracle. That's how they describe it in the film.
Right, a bad miracle, suddenly it's a total sci-fi nightmare. But then there's this whole other storyline, right, with Ricky Jupe Park, the owner of Jupiter's Claim, that kind of Wild West theme park.
Yeah, and his backstory is key because it's like this messed up mirror of what the whole movie is about, you know? Like Hollywood's obsession with spectacle and the cost of that.
You're talking about that chimpanzee incident, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, wow, that's brutal. Poor little Ricky. He's on the set of this sitcom, and then Gordy, the chimp actor, just completely loses it. It's carnage. People are getting killed, but for some reason, Gordy seems to spare Ricky.
It's messed up. And what's so interesting is that they never explain exactly why Gordy spares him. Like, is there something special about Ricky? Does he have this connection with the chimp that nobody else does?
Well, he seems to think so, right?
Absolutely. He grows up believing that he tamed Gordy in that moment. Like, he had control over something wild and dangerous. But let's be real, he just got lucky.
So you're saying he's built his whole adult life on a delusion.
Pretty much. And that makes his decision to try and exploit Jean Jacket even more disturbing. He's convinced he can put on a show with this alien predator. It's like, hello, haven't you learned anything? He's trying to control this force of nature. And it goes about as well as you'd expect.
It's a disaster.
Yeah.
And that's where the metaphor really kicks in. Peele's not just telling a story about aliens, he's showing us how this insatiable hunger for spectacle, for pushing the limits, it can blind us to the consequences.
Yeah.
And it's not just about animals. It's about how people get used and discarded by the industry too, you know?
So then we've got OJ and Emerald who also want to capitalize on Jean Jacket.
Right.
They're obsessed with getting this Oprah shot.
Right. Like, what even is an Oprah shot?
That's what I was wondering.
Okay, so think of it like this. The Oprah shot is their golden ticket. It's that perfect, undeniable proof of the alien. The footage that would launch them into stardom. Maybe even get them on Oprah's couch.
Okay. I get it.
And that's a powerful image, especially for a black family trying to make it in Hollywood.
Yeah, because for them, it's about more than just money. Right.
Way more. It's about legacy and representation.
Right. Remember those opening credits? They show that old film clip, A Jockey on a Horse. That was the first movie ever made. And Emerald points out that jockey, that was her ancestor. A black man whose contribution to film history was basically forgotten.
Bro, you know what? I totally missed that.
Right.
So it's not just a random clip. It sets up this whole conversation about who gets recognized in Hollywood and who gets swept under the rug.
Exactly. OJ and Emerald come from this long line of people who worked in film, but their stories, they've been erased. So for them, capturing the Oprah shot, it's about reclaiming their family's legacy in this system that's ignored them for so long.
So it's complicated. They're trying to break into this system while also fighting against it.
Yeah, they're walking this tightrope, trying to honor their family's history in film without becoming another casualty of the system.
It's a struggle that resonates with a lot of people, I think.
Absolutely. And you know, it's funny because this whole idea of who gets seen and who's overlooked, it ties into something else in the film. You actually brought it up in your notes. That whole thing with eye contact.
Oh, yeah. Like, don't look at the monster won't see you kind of thing.
Right. But it's even deeper than that. It's not just some made-up rule in the film. It's like real animal behavior, you know? In the wild, making direct eye contact can be a sign of aggression, right? A challenge.
Right.
So when you look away, it can be a way of saying like, hey, chill out. I'm not trying to start anything.
Oh, that makes sense. So like with Gordy, Ricky survived because he was hiding under the table, avoiding eye contact when the chimp went nuts.
Bingo. And then with Jean Jacket, it's even more extreme. Making eye contact triggers its predatory instincts.
Ah, okay. So OJ and Emerald, they have to figure out how to exist without looking at this thing.
Exactly. And to me, that's where Peele's genius comes in. He's using this don't look thing to comment on the power dynamics in Hollywood.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
Like, think about it. Hollywood's this massive predatory beast, right? And if you want to survive it, if you want to make it in the industry, you got to learn how to deal with its gaze.
So avoiding eye contact, it's not just about physical safety. It's about, protecting your identity, like
Yeah.
not letting the system consume you.
You got it. It's about holding on to your own agency, refusing to be objectified or exploited.
But how does that play into this whole theme of consumption that runs throughout the film? I don't really get that part.
Well, think about how we consume entertainment.
Right.
We're constantly bombarded with images, stories, spectacles that are designed to grab our attention, to make us look.
Right.
And by doing that, we become part of this cycle of exploitation.
Whoa. Okay, so we're feeding the beast just by looking, by
Yeah.
being fascinated by all these spectacles, even if we know there's something dark behind them.
That's exactly it. That's what makes Nope so brilliant. It's not just a movie, it's a commentary on how we participate in this system.
So it all comes back to OJ and Emerald, right? They're
Mhm.
trying to get that Oprah shot, but at the same time, they're also trying to break free from this cycle of exploitation.
Yeah.
But how do they do that?
Well, they're walking a tightrope. They want recognition, they want to be seen, but they don't want to become just another spectacle.
Right. It's like they're chasing the Oprah shot.
Right.
So aren't they still playing by Hollywood's rules?
Yeah.
How's that any different from what Ricky was doing with Jean Jacket?
That is such a good question, and it gets to the core of what Peele's exploring in this film. Ricky, he approached Jean Jacket like he was entitled to it, like he could own it.
Okay. Yeah.
He wanted to exploit it for profit, to make it part of his show, his collection of spectacles. But OJ and Emerald, they're driven by something different.
Okay, so what's the difference? They both want to capture something amazing. They both want the world to see it.
It all comes down to intention. OJ and Emerald, they want to document Jean Jacket,
Yeah.
to understand it, to use the spectacle to expose the truth, not to exploit it.
They're not looking away.
Exactly. They're facing the monster, the bad miracle, head on, but they're doing it on their own terms.
Wow.
And in doing that, they're challenging the whole system.
That's pretty risky.
It is, but it's also what makes their story so powerful.
huh?
They're not just surviving, they're actively trying to change the rules of the game.
They're saying, like, we see you, Hollywood. We see the game you're playing, and they're not going to just let it happen.
And that's what's so cool about how the film ends. Emerald, she gets her Oprah shot.
Yeah.
But it's not about fame or anything like that.
Right.
It's about taking back control.
Yeah.
You know? Taking back the narrative, showing everyone that she's not just another victim, she's a survivor.
She's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like, in her own right. I keep thinking of that final shot of her
Yeah.
standing there, all triumphant.
Yeah.
You know, in front of Jupiter's claim, all blown to bits. It's powerful.
It is.
It's like she's saying, this is my story now. I'm the one telling it.
And it's not just her story either, right? It's the story of everyone who's been pushed aside or used or forgotten by the industry.
Yeah, totally.
Think about it. The film ends with this big question mark hanging over Jean Jacket. Like, did they really destroy it?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Or is it still out there, just waiting for someone else to try and exploit it?
So Peele's leaving it up to us to decide.
Exactly.
Like, what happens next? Are we going to keep playing along with this whole thing? Or are we going to demand something better?
You know, when you were talking about your reaction to the film, you mentioned feeling a little conflicted.
Yeah.
Like, you loved the movie,
I did.
but it also made you kind of uncomfortable
All right.
thinking about some of the stuff it brings up.
Yeah,
I think that's the whole point.
totally.
Nope. It's a horror film. It's supposed to scare you and thrill you.
Right.
But then it makes you think about the things you enjoy, the stuff you find entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, where is it all coming from? And what's the real cost? It kind of makes you feel guilty.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's where the real conversation starts. Peele's shining a light on the ugly side of the entertainment industry,
Right.
and he's forcing us to confront our own role in it.
So it's not just about watching the movie and forgetting about it, right?
Wait.
It's about, like, taking that experience with you into the real world.
Totally. It's about becoming more aware, asking questions, challenging the status quo.
So after this deep dive, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from?
Nope. I'd say this. The next time you find yourself getting swept up in the spectacle, it doesn't matter if it's a big movie or a viral video or even just some commercial on TV. Take a second. Look closer.
Okay, yeah.
Ask yourself, what's the real story here? And am I okay with being part of it?
It's like Peele's telling us we have more power than we think.
Absolutely.
Nope, it's not just a movie. It's like a wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we all play a part in shaping the world.
Right.
And that starts with being aware of what we consume and what we support.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was intense. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Nope. We'll be back next week with another one. Until then, stay curious and don't look up.